It's Julia Renee.
And Kendall Aaliyah. Welcome back to the Know Your Power podcast. What's up, guys?
Welcome back to another episode.
I feel like such an official YouTuber that has like their, what's up, you guys?
Hey, YouTube.
I say
Subscribe.
hi, YouTube.
Make sure that you comment down below and turn your post notifications on.
I do. Hi, YouTube. Welcome back to another video, as you can tell by the title. And then I'll go into whatever the title says.
Why do you say as you can tell by the title?
I have no clue.
I always say like...
no idea. Today we're doing
I say, hello, my loves. Welcome back to another episode of the Prep Diaries series. My name is Julia Renee. Oh, my God.
See?
Yeah.
And you're making fun of mine.
Yeah.
I don't introduce
As you
myself.
can tell, hi, I'm Julia Renee. You probably have seen me every single week for the past couple of months.
3 times a week, in
fact.
fact.
I need to reintroduce myself just in case you don't know.
Are you still doing 3 times a week?
For the month of September, yes. What was I thinking?
You just start crying.
What was I thinking? Honestly, I think I took a week off from just filming.
Mm-hmm. I haven't
after
watched
the
your show day video yet. I need to.
It's good.
That's on my to-do list today.
It's good.
Yeah.
The footage from the stage. Oh my God, I'm so glad that we got that because it was just so good. I'm like, why didn't I think about doing this every show?
Well, now you know.
But now it's like more common that we do that. But
yeah.
This is going to be more of a bodybuilding heavy episode. So
love it.
If you're a aspiring bodybuilder or bodybuilder, strap in.
I was about to say, as you could tell by the title.
As you could tell by the title.
Today we're chatting about the characteristics of being a successful bodybuilder. That's all.
Yes.
Are we just getting into it? Because then I'll just
get into it.
Number 1 is pushing past perceived limits. The mind will try to stop you long before the body actually gives up. I say this every time someone asks about bodybuilding, doing their first prep, anything in that world.
Yes.
It is a mental sport. You will give up mentally far sooner than you'll give up physically.
True. And I'm noticing that. I talked a little bit about it in the last episode, but really like this week, because it's been more like of a mental battle of like, oh my God, can I push this long? Can I do it? Like, can I come back better?
Yeah.
You know, all of that stuff. And I'm still, while that's all happening, my body is still going. My body is like still doing the reps and responding. And it's still like able to go on the Stairmaster. And I said last episode, like, body, how are you doing this? And it's so true that like your mind will tell you to give up way before your body actually does.
Yeah.
And it's most of the time though.
That's in like anything in the gym too, where like I'm doing Stairmaster right now, which is something my body's so not used to doing. And in my head, the first day I like was walking in to do it, like, I built it up so much.
I need to get off.
I literally built it up so much. And then like before I knew it, I was 10 minutes in, and then I was 20, and then I was 45. And I was like, oh, I could physically go for hours. Yeah. I feel fine. But mentally I was like, this is going to be so hard. This is going to be so taxing. So a lot of it is just our own limits we put on ourselves. Once you realize your body is capable of like literally anything, I feel like it makes the sport of bodybuilding much easier to achieve at, because you're like, oh, I'm just putting these own limits on myself.
True.
My body's actually doing fine.
I feel like most of you girlies that are listening have had a moment, whether it was in the gym or your personal life, where you didn't think you were going to be able to get through. You know, maybe it was a really difficult breakup. Maybe it was a death in the family or something like that. Or maybe you had like a past eating disorder, or you were trying to hit a squat PR in the gym, and you like, there were moments where you literally didn't think you were going to make it through, but you're here now and you have made it through. And that's just proof that you are so much more powerful than you think. Because the first thought that you think is going to be like, bro, no, we can't do this.
Yeah.
And I know that you'll look back on that later and be like, bro, we did it.
Not the bro.
One thing I notice about myself is that whenever I'm like mad in driving and someone like makes me mad in driving, I always go, bro. Like out loud to myself.
I use much different choice
I'm
words.
like, bro. Like if someone cuts me, I'm like, bro. And I'm like, Zach said,
I'm so mean.
Why do you keep saying bro? I don't know.
One of my favorites,
a little boy.
One of my favorite sayings that kind of ties into this is, what would you do if success was guaranteed? And I feel like that was like a quote my whole last prep. I was like, can't be real. But just that mentality every day of like, what would happen if I just did give this my all, or what would happen if I did win my show, or what would happen if, like, I feel like it's much easier to self-doubt, but forcing yourself into like I guess pride or like confidence is important.
One thing that I've been saying to myself a lot lately is you can do anything for X amount of time. Like yesterday, my leg workout was awful, and that's fine. That's okay. And I had post-workout cardio after that. And I was like, I can't. I was like, I kept just saying, I can't. And after that, I was like, okay, you got to stop saying that you can't, because you've proven to yourself that you can push past these perceived limits because you've done it each time. So I just kept saying, you can do anything for 15 minutes. You can do anything for 15 minutes. And I'm on the Stairmaster. You can do anything for 15 minutes.
I was the type of person, still am sometimes. I haven't done it yet this week, but I know it's coming. If I have an hour on cardio, once I'm 20 minutes in, I'm like, okay, just 2 more of that. And then once I'm 30 minutes in.
You only have 40 minutes.
Yeah. I do the mental math, the girl math, where I'm like, technically, I just need to repeat that twice and I'm done.
You're like, technically, I'm already done. Like, I'm basically done.
Every time I pass a 30-minute threshold, I go, okay, I'm basically done.
Yeah. Just girl math your way out of it.
Truly. The second thing is this lifestyle is a choice, and recognizing that, because it is so easy, especially when you're like this deep in a prep.
There's so many times this week that I've been like, poor me. Yeah. And I'm like, and then I laugh because, Julia, you're the one who's choosing. No one is making you do this. No one is holding like a knife to you and being like, you better be a bodybuilder or else.
I mean, some of us. No, I'm just kidding.
Kind of. But me to myself.
Yeah.
No one's making you do this.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
You're literally choosing every time you step on cardio that this is a lifestyle choice. You're choosing every time you hit your macros that you're choosing to eat less because of these goals you have. So it's not like, oh, it's useless and it doesn't mean anything, so I should give up. It's as motivation of like, you're choosing to do this, and it's almost a privilege. Like, bodybuilding is an expensive sport. It's also like not a lot of the world has the luxury to choose to eat less. Like, it is.
That has been eye-opening. Like, choosing to eat less, like choosing to physically tax your body, like being grateful that you have that choice, that you're choosing to do that, when some people, that's not what they would ever choose.
Yeah,
like exactly. It's crazy. So that has been one of the things I think that I've learned the most this prep, is that I'm choosing this, and no one else should have to suffer because I'm choosing to suffer.
Yeah.
Meaning like my relationships, and trust me, I haven't been 100%. I know that. I can always be better. But I used to like get so irritable and like angry at Zach for like living his happy-go-lucky life when I was like hangry and tired. And I was like, why am I doing this to him when he's not the one choosing this, bro?
That is such a good point, because I've definitely done that, where I'm in a relationship and I'm prepping and they're not, and they'll get fast food and you're like, well, F you. And it's like, they don't have to eat your meal prep because you're choosing to eat your meal prep.
Exactly. Except for my peak week. That was my only week that I was like,
no fast food
this week. I was like,
understandable.
I literally had this moment with Zach where I already, because we've been together for 5 years at this point, I already like know what he's going to do before he's going to do it. So I was having a real rough peak week at the beginning of my last one. And I had a feeling, I was like, I have a feeling he's going to order a burger and fries tonight. I could just tell.
You sensed it.
I could sense it. And we come to the end of the night. I'm eating my meal. And I said, are you going to make your meal? And he goes, I have P. Terry's coming. And I was filled with the rage of 1,000 suns. And I shouldn't have been, because I never said what I needed from him just for this week.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, I know that this isn't something that I said and that's my fault, but for just this week, after today, can you not? Or if you do, give me a warning because I will go in my room because I'm struggling right now.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, okay, cool. And then yesterday, the day before, he ordered something else that we normally would get together. And I was like, fine. But when peak week comes around again, I'm going to be like, no.
Yeah. Peak week is definitely.
And I was just telling him, I was like, I haven't said anything this entire, I was like, I've been on prep forever and ever. This is the only, I was like, this is just the 1 week. Can I just have this 1 week? And he was like, yes, just gotta tell me. So
communicate too. That should be on this list.
Communicate.
Get good at communicating.
Trust me.
Which does kind of tie into number 3, which is adaptability. Just because you're on prep doesn't mean your social life is over. And also like doesn't mean your relationships need to suffer, friendships need to suffer. It's all about adapting. And again, going back to like realizing this is a choice, setting boundaries with people, communicating with people is so important. You don't have to say no to everything suddenly because you're in prep, but just like making pre-planned decisions, like packing a meal or eating your meal before you go meet up with someone, like little changes that you, if you're adaptive with it, make prep a lot easier because then you're not like suffering alone.
Yeah. And you're, and also just staying home and inside for 4 to 5 months of prep, you know, and like, it's not good for you. Like we need to be somewhat social. And I know that when you're on prep, like your battery is very low most of the time. So making different choices, like instead of, okay, well, if you want to hang out with your friend and normally you guys would go out and get drinks or something, doing something different where you guys go and do like an activity. Maybe you do go on a walk, or maybe you go to a coffee shop instead. And maybe even go to like one of the things that Zach and I like to do when I'm on prep and we can't really make food the thing. We go to like an arcade and we get really competitive and we play games and it's fun. And, you know, I eat my meal before we go, and, you know, you can still have a social life. It might still be a little bit limited while you're on prep, and adapting to your surroundings and not expecting everybody around you to adapt to you.
Yeah, good point.
Sometimes they will. Like if you have really awesome friends, like sometimes my friends are like, most of this, all the time, my friends are always like, okay, like what do you need? Like it's crazy like that. And I know that it's not like that for everybody, where my mom and dad are like, okay, like what do you need for like your thing? Because my parents like, they just want me to like succeed. And I know it's not always like that. And it shouldn't be expected that everybody should just like, you're on prep, whatever you need is what we're going to do. You're not the center of the world.
Sadly. I feel like being gluten intolerant has helped me with this, but also like you can go out to eat and not eat. Like that is okay. I thought you were getting up again.
No, sorry. I stretched my butt.
There's a lot of times now where like if I know I can't have gluten at a restaurant, but my whole family's going, I'm not going to just not go to that restaurant. I'm going to eat before or after and still join them and still socialize and still talk. So like it's really not weird. You just go, oh, I'm not ordering, to the waiter, and that's about it.
Yeah. And if people have things to say about it, then
then you leave. No, I'm just kidding.
You also don't have to explain yourself to anybody if you don't want to. You also don't have to be rude about it, but you can also just explain like, these are my goals that I have right now, and this is what I have to do, and hopefully they understand it.
Yes. Do you want to read the next one?
The next one is the willingness to take feedback. So this is like negative and positive. So when you start bodybuilding, there could be the negative side where people are like, the fuck are you doing? Why are you doing this? You know, making comments about putting on muscle or your food choices or bringing your meals. And that's part of it. And then also the willingness to take feedback from judges, and knowing that once you step into bodybuilding, and I'm noticing this a lot, the more recognition I get competing this year is that now it's not just the judges that have had feedback on my physique and what I need to improve on.
Everyone on social media.
Everybody and their mom.
Yeah, I actually can't imagine how you feel with all of that because I'm not in prep. And I saw a post yesterday. Someone reposted my video and said, let's rate this physique 1 to 10. And I had to click on the comments.
Crazy, right?
And people are just giving their blind opinion about my physique. And it's weird how normalized that is through social media. But yeah, that's definitely an added layer too, where it's not, it's sometimes a lot of the time unsolicited feedback.
Yes. And that's the thing. It's like you're putting yourself out there on social media. So you have to, and you're putting yourself out there on a bodybuilding stage. Yeah. So that comes with the territory. And like, it's, it can be easy to get like upset about it, you know, and be like, ugh, but then, you know, I'm always taken back and I'm like, okay, well, I'm the one who's putting this out there. You know, people can say whatever they want. I've had people like, I have some people that comment on YouTube, like, you need to grow here. You need to do this. You need to like telling me, you know, what I need to do. And in the past I would have been like, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. It's like, I know what I need to work on because I'm listening to judges' feedback.
And that's really the only feedback that matters.
That's the only feedback that matters. What the judges are saying that they need you to do, not user number 995 on Instagram with no profile photo.
Yeah. And even if you're listening to this and you're getting into bodybuilding and you're like, yeah, but I don't have a big social media presence. They still post usually stage photos at like on like the show Instagram or on NPC News. And there still are commenters that 100%. Love just commenting on strangers. So it is definitely, and of course we know it's a very subjective sport and like you are fully going on stage to be judged. It is part of it. And sometimes hearing some negative feedback is a part of the sport and what it is. And it doesn't mean that you look bad. It doesn't mean you didn't work hard. It's just a certain look and a criteria and a certain, you know, like it's so easy. They told me to grow my glutes nationals. That was my feedback. And it could have been so easy to be like, I've been working so hard on my glutes and they don't care. They just see the package you brought to stage. They don't know all the work you did. They don't know how you look in off season.
Everybody's worked hard. Nobody cares.
Exactly,
no one cares.
Exactly.
My feedback this time was still grow your glutes and hams, even though I took 2 years to do it. And I'm like, you're 100% right. You can always, you know, for wellness
unless
at least.
You're Fran.
I mean,
you can always improve.
And I don't even know what her judge's score says. It just says you are a perfect human being. Don't change anything ever. That's probably what they write.
But even then, there's still commenters and strangers that find something about
or that
even
don't
someone
think
like
that she should be that, or you know. And I think one thing too that I am grateful that people do this because I know that it's coming from a good place where I post my show day thing and they say you're robbed. They tell, you know, and I know that they're just like, they're supportive of me and they mean well. Yeah. And the only thing that I reply back is the judges made the right call because they did.
Yeah. It's their call to make.
It's their call to make.
Unfortunately.
They're the judges. I'm not up there believing that I deserve it any more than any of those other girls do because everybody has gone through the same thing. Everyone's had their own trials and tribulations and things.
Especially on a pro level too.
Oh, yeah. Like there's 30 incredible girls there. It could have been any of us in that top 5. Yeah. Any of us.
Literally last call outs. I went to finals only and they did last call outs first. Could have told me it was first call outs and I would have believed you. Like everyone looked great. Yes. So it is such an opinionative sport.
Yes.
So which is
taking the feedback, whether it's like positive or whether it's negative, and from the judges, like at the end of the day, that's all that matters is the judges and where they think that you should improve and just focusing on that and being like, okay, because this sport is about getting better. And I know if you're wanting to compete, you just want to be better. So take that information, go into your off season. Let's fucking go.
Yeah. I'm always like the only person I compare myself to every peak week or every show day is my last peak week or my last show day. You know, it's just kind of like beating yourself. I'll probably have you talk more about this next one because I feel like you're better at articulating it. But the other thing you need is discipline and consistency. And we have spoken on both of these topics endlessly.
Yes. And I think when I get on prep for a show and people see me doing like the same thing every single day, you know, I get asked, like, how do you have so much discipline? Or I wish that I had the discipline that you had. And I'm always saying, you could.
And you do, actually.
You could. And
it's just about utilizing it.
Exactly. And it's like, there's nothing special about me.
Don't say that.
There's nothing special about me that makes me anything different than who you are.
Yeah.
You know, we're all
We're all just humans.
We're all just humans humaning.
Humaning.
So what I mean by there's nothing special about me was I wasn't just like God gifted with more discipline than the next person. Mm-hmm. I am disciplined because I wasn't disciplined. I was the girl that would wake up, snooze her alarm 10 times, was doing her makeup in the car, driving to work. I would swing by and grab like the Texas-sized giant coffees from the Coffee Bean, which are like the Frappuccinos, and like maybe like a giant taco, if that was even if I ate that day. Or if I went to the salon and I didn't have breakfast, we'd have fast food during the day. I was smoking cigarettes, like not drinking water. I went from that to being where I am now, and not being disciplined to being in a sport that requires the utmost disciplinedness. Yeah. And it's something that you can build over time, and everybody can do it. Everybody can build the discipline. Just like you're doing reps in the gym, you have to do reps with your disciplines. You have to practice them over and over and over. And it gets easier. When you first try to be disciplined towards certain things, it's difficult. It's hard because you're used to doing things a certain way. And when you implement a completely different, like kind of like a personality, your body's like, whoa, wait. We don't do that. Mm-hmm. We sleep in, we hit snooze. We don't do the Stairmaster. We don't lift weights. What are we doing? Your body wants to be in a routine, even if that routine isn't actually aligned with your goals. So it's difficult to get disciplined and consistent at first, but the more that you do it, it actually becomes easier because now it's just a part of who you are.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you're someone who feels like, oh, I can't do bodybuilding because I lack consistency and discipline, it teaches you that.
Oh yeah,
like there's no way you're stepping on a stage without it. You know, by the time you're halfway into a prep, like you're saying, it's just ingrained into you at a certain point. And sometimes you do start small. You start with, I'm doing 20 minutes on the stairs every day, and once you're consistent with that for a week or two, it's so much easier to go, oh, I could do 30. I could do 40. I could do this every single day. I could. And then it kind of trickles into like all aspects of life, where I notice every time I'm in a prep specifically, like year round, yes, discipline is a consistent part of any bodybuilder's lifestyle on or off season. But in prep specifically, I focus way more energy on journaling and meditating and relationships with others, because you almost have like more structure, and that more structure leads to more time to spend on these other positive things.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. There was something that you said that I was like, I need to talk about that. What did you say right before you said that?
Working your way up with cardio specifically.
Oh, this is why one of my biggest like tips of advice is what I was about to say.
That works.
Pieces of advice when people ask me, like, how do I get into bodybuilding? And like, what does that look like? I'm always like, act like a bodybuilder before you're actually one.
Yep.
So try and hit like whether it's your macros or your meal plan, like try to hit it every single day this week. Try and like hit all your cardio sessions, hit all of your training sessions, wake up and don't snooze your alarm. Like, have the actions of a bodybuilder before you choose to get on prep for a show.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have that down. And when you get on prep for a show, it's going to be a lot easier for you, because you're going to be like, I've already done all of these things.
Exactly.
I already know how to nail my meal plan. I already know how to do my cardio and recover. I already know how to like go to the gym and track my progress. Like, I already know how to do that. So now I'm just doing it at a more challenging level.
Yeah. And then you already have that relationship with yourself and that trust with yourself that you're capable of doing.
You're like, I've already done this before. So now let's just like level up. Let's like do a little more of an intense version of it. One of the examples I like to use for this is, you guys have heard me talk about like how I'm waking up at 3:30 in the morning, 4 a.m. and whatever. And at first I chose to wake up at 4 a.m. because it was what was necessary for me to fit everything in that I needed to do. So when I first started waking up at 4 a.m. and my cardio got increased to an hour and 45 minutes, 6 days a week, I knew if I wanted to get all of the things that I needed to do in the day done. The hour and 45 minutes of cardio, the hour of lifting, the 30 minutes of posing practice on top of making sure that my clients were taken care of. And I was eating and doing all of those things. I was like, I have to wake up at 4 a.m. I have to wake up at 4 a.m. and I need to be at the gym at 5 a.m. when they open so that I can start my cardio and do that. When I first started doing that, oh my God, it was hard. I was waking up and I was like, oh my God, I can't do. I wanted to snooze my alarm. I wanted to go back to sleep. Now, like I was saying before, it's gotten easier to where my body is waking me up at that time and it's not challenging anymore. And it's just part of who I am.
Yeah. Part of that is just routine. And also, again, going back to like realizing it's a choice, like in those times where it is tough, being like, hey, I'm choosing to do this and it's going to work out for me in the long run.
Yes.
So just, again, consistency and discipline go hand in hand, but consistency builds discipline. 100%. Like just the more you show up and the more you do your plan, the easier, truly it gets.
It really does.
It does. The last one that you need is patience.
Oh, man.
And this one sounds like it'd be the easiest, but can sometimes be the hardest.
I think this is like body. It doesn't even matter if you're like a bodybuilder specifically. Yeah. It's like the patience in the gym for whether it's cutting or building is so necessary. Oh my God.
I mean, we've both talked about it this year specifically where we are training and we're like, why is the scale not moving? Why am I not seeing progress? And then suddenly it like hits you one day and you go, whoa, there it is. So that is like proof enough that you just need patience and you need to like trust the process. That is my favorite saying in prep, is just trust the process of like, it's all going to work out. Because if you're following a plan and you're eating certain foods and it's all in a cut, you're gonna see results. You're not gonna just not see results. It might take longer than expected. You might be blind to it at first, even if you are getting results. Sometimes we have body dysmorphia and you can't see it. It's all about just trusting the process, giving things time. Same thing we were talking about last episode. It's like, don't just switch up your training plan or feel like you need to cut lower. Yeah.
That's usually when people give up, when they don't see the progress or the weight come off or the muscle put on in the time frame that they think they should have it, they give up.
Oh, I have a good example.
Trust me, because I've done it multiple times.
My brother is in a weight loss journey right now. I told you he's like kind of doing this week with me, but overall in the past several months, he's been updating me every day, which I think is the cutest thing ever. He'll send me his weigh-in and he'll send me what he's eating, and it's awesome. His goal initially was to be under 200 pounds because he hasn't been that since like college days, right? He was weighing in, I'm not exaggerating, I have endless screenshots at 200 or like 201 for like a month straight. Every day he'd weigh in, and I kept saying to him, stick with it, maybe don't weigh yourself for a day or two, your stress might be adding to it. Just trying to give him that support of just stick with this. Do not let this constant.
This is the point where you make or break it, where you can easily go back to just the old habits and then you'll definitely not reach your goal.
Because it's hard. It's really hard seeing something plateau like that. And then finally one day he goes 199 and now he's at 184.
Exactly.
Like a month or two late. Like his body just started.
Sometimes your body's like, all right, we're ready.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what happened to me. And I actually did a Q&A box on my story this morning, and someone was asking a question similar to that of like, what do you do when you're in prep or you're in a cut and your body just plateaus, and I was like, I understand it's frustrating. I had a point in prep where my body stalled for so long, and the thing that was helping me was knowing that I was doing DEXA scans and that at least maybe my muscle was growing or my body fat was moving, but the scale was staying the same.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, at a certain point in my prep, the scale needs to move. But I just kept staying consistent, even though it was really hard, because there was times where I was like, I just want to give up because it seems like nothing is happening. Stuff is happening behind the scenes and it's adding up. And you are going to reap the benefits if you continue.
Yeah.
Not if you just give up again.
Yeah, if you give up, of course you're not going to see results.
Then it guarantees that you don't see results.
That's like the only guarantee that you're not going to get to your goal is if you give up.
Yes.
But no, patience is so important, and plateaus are so common. And if you have a coach, that's why it's important to have a coach. It's so easy to go, if not giving up, I need to cut my calories even lower. And sometimes that's not the correct answer either. It's just about sticking with the plan.
Yeah, for real. And one thing that I noticed too, at least about like with the patience aspect of it, is with bodybuilding and putting on muscle, I personally think putting on muscle is way harder than losing weight, because especially
Like
coming
mentally?
from, it's harder to do.
Oh, yeah.
Like it takes more time.
Yeah.
It's like you can't see the physical changes as much. You know what I mean? So taking something and building muscle tissue, it takes time. It takes years. It takes patience. And when you become a bodybuilder, like you want it all to happen so fast. And I still really want it to happen fast. Like there's sometimes where I'm like, I just wish I would look like Fran, right now. And I'm like, she's like 10 years older than me, like chill. So just knowing that taking that time in that off season and building the muscle is going to help that future you who steps on stage.
When I decided to go wellness, like the year it was announced, I took a full year and a half and worked my ass off just to grow my quads at all.
Yes.
And even then I probably added like maybe a half an inch, maybe an inch of muscle, which doesn't feel like a lot, but that made the difference in my physique and made me confident enough to step on a wellness stage. So yeah, muscle growing, even like I feel like we gain semi easily and it still takes a long time.
Feels like, okay, nothing's happening.
Yeah, especially if you're doing like a really steady, healthy bulk or off season where you're not putting on a ton of body fat, you really don't see changes.
Yes.
You're like, oh, I've just looked the same, until you go back and look at progress photos and you're like, there it is.
That's why going back again, tracking your progress and taking like measurements of stuff. Like when I'm in my building season, because I know that like, okay, I might not see physical changes in the mirror. I'm going to rely on tracking my weights that I'm lifting in the gym so that I'm like, oh my God, I just got better on my squat. I'm probably going to measure my quads, because it always makes me feel good when I do my measurement of my quad and my glute, and I can see like, yes, I grew like a half an inch. So that's what I rely on during those times to really help push me. But these are just some things that I've learned over the years of competing that have really helped me become a better bodybuilder. And I'm sure I'm going to learn more as I continue. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you're a bodybuilder or, aspiring one, and there's something that you've learned, comment it down below if you're listening on YouTube, or DM us on Instagram. But we love you all so much, and you're more powerful than you think.
Bye.